I guess it really depends on what side of the spectrum you fall on. Like, do you think it was right of them to turn Dean Ambrose heel on this night after what happened, or you think, this was great, all this kind of like, where do you fall? I feel like for me, I honestly thought it was perfect. This was perfect on WWE's end. The way the night started and the way the night ended and how it built to it, I thought it was just great on WWE's end. And part of the reason why is because, number one, they successfully turned Dean Ambrose heel without the crowd cheering him. Yeah, of course, the crowd reacted when he actually, kicked Seth in the gut and hit up dirty deeds, but they didn't cheer him like, you would expect Mark's smart wrestling fans to do. When we want someone to turn heel and they finally turn heel, we're inclined to cheer them, even though we should be booing them. But on this night, he turned heel, and we wanted that to happen, and we booed. Why? Because WWE did what they should always do. Now, I'm not saying everyone should come out and say that they have some life-threatening disease and then turn their partner heel, but they need to do this more often, and that's capitalize on the emotions of the fans. This is what they do in cinema. This is what they do in books. This is what they do in TV shows to get people to feel something. The only way to get someone to feel love or hatred for another human being is to play on their emotion. And I don't know where I heard that from, but it's true. You start off the show, and now I honestly did not know. I was texting my little sister, and I was texting, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? Why did they start off if you guys saw my video yesterday about my reaction to it, go click on the link in the description down below. But I was texting, and I'm like, well, why the fuck did they start off the show like that? Like, why would you start off the show on a bad note? I know you can't send the crowd home sad, but I don't know if you wanted to start off the show with that kind of sad undertone, It kind of sets the stone for the show to be kind of carried on that fact that, we just got this ball dropped on us, that this top star that they've been building up for years now has this life-threatening disease, leukemia. Roman Reigns announced that he's been fighting this battle with leukemia for 11 years, and now it's come back, and he has to take some time off to, fight with it. And I've said yesterday that I have a cousin with leukemia, so it kind of I had a flashback to when I was told that my cousin had leukemia, and that kind of evoked a lot of emotion there. So when Roman said that, I was actually very upset and very sad. Now, I would have been upset if I did not have a cousin who had leukemia, but still, you feel bad for the guy. Why wouldn't you? He it's life or death. Cancer is. There's a good probability that Roman Reigns could pass on from this. So there's emotion right there. You already feel upset, and you already feel some type of sadness for Roman Reigns. Then you have Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins. They come out. Seth Rollins is crying. He's all red in the face. Dean Ambrose, he's trying to hold it together. They do the whole shield thing as Roman Reigns goes to the back, and that's going to be the last time we see Roman Reigns for a long time. So already Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose already faced off for the Raw Tag Team Championships later on tonight. So now it's like, well, it's only right if they win the Raw Tag Team Championships, because they're fighting for Roman, and they're trying to keep the Shield together, and it just feels right, So the main event happens, and they win the Raw Tag Team Championships. I think it's their third or fourth reign or something, but they win the Raw Tag Team Championships. Everyone's happy, everyone's overjoyed. Next thing you know, Dean Ambrose kicks Seth in the gut and hits him with dirty deeds, and the crowd just loses their mind. Like, what the fuck? Why did this happen? Dean Ambrose is going in on Dean, like, say it again. I don't know if Seth said, I'm sorry, or it's okay. Seth said something along those lines that just kept making Dean angrier and angrier. And it just was perfect. It was perfect how it was done. Seth did not even try to fight him back. He was defenseless. And when he finally laid out Seth with dirty deeds on the outside, Seth was crying again. Like, he lost lose Roman Reigns, but, he can't fight Roman anymore, and he lost a friend in Dean Ambrose, or so we thought he was friends with him. They've been teasing this heel turn for such a long time, and now that it finally happened, they chose the right time to do it. You wait until the night where Roman Reigns can't wrestle anymore, at least for an extended period of time, and then Dean Ambrose snaps, and he turns on Seth, and we don't clearly know why. I mean, we know why, because, Dolph already explained it to us basically weeks ago of why Dean Ambrose has a reason to turn on them. But why would Dean do it at this point in time? Why would Dean wait until Roman Reigns has to leave to turn on Seth. And Seth and Dean have a long storied rivalry from 2014, 2015. So if he were to turn on anybody, it would make sense for him to turn on Seth. You know, Roman and Dean, they've seemed to never have issues before. When the Shield broke up, Seth turned on Dean and Roman. So Roman and Dean kind of always been friends to this point. So it kind of made sense for Dean to not turn on Roman, if that makes sense. Like, if Dean turned on Roman, it would be more upset. I mean, first of all, I think that would have been terrible if Dean turned on Roman during the leukemia. Nah, they couldn't have done that. They could not have done that. So I think this was perfect for them to do it after Roman's gone. And it's even more better because when Roman comes back, now we don't know when this is going to happen. Let's just assume Roman comes back sometime next year. Maybe before WrestleMania, you know? You set the stone for this Roman, for this Dean Seth feud that could extend out to maybe WrestleMania since you started off now. You know, let's say Dean Ambrose wins the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins can win the Royal Rumble. God forbid Roman Reigns comes back enough time wins the Royal Rumble. I don't know if I could bring myself to saying I want Roman Reigns to. I don't know if I could bring myself to saying that. Seth Rollins wins the Royal Rumble. You know, Roman Reigns comes back. It's time for WrestleMania. That sets up a Universal Triple Threat. Roman versus Seth versus Dean. Now, how do we get to the point where Dean becomes Universal Champion? That's a good question because it seems like it's being set up between Braun and Brock. I swear to fucking God, Brock better not win the championship back. So, you know, let's say Braun wins the championship. Braun and Dean already have some history since before then. So maybe you do Dean versus Braun at Survivor Series, or Dean versus Braun at TLC, or Dean versus Braun at Royal Rumble. Somewhere along the lines, I think Dean can win that championship. Seth can win the Royal Rumble. And you have this singles match set up. Maybe Roman gets inserted into the singles match WrestleMania, or Roman Reigns comes back later on, maybe the night after WrestleMania, and it sets up a triple threat for SummerSlam. There's so many ways you can go with this. I feel like this was great of them to do this because you're going into this whole path with Dean being the top heel on the brand, you know? Anyway, I don't want to make too much long of a video. I gotta go to work soon, but thank y'all for watching this video. I just thought this was great. You know, when WWE, I say it all the time, if it's shit, it's shit. If it's great, it's great. And I will gladly say if WWE's doing something right, and I thought they did something right here. Now, what did you guys think? Do you guys think, you know, they shouldn't have done it at this time? You think it was perfect timing like I do? I love you guys always, and I will talk to you all later. Peace out.